How many parameters should a method have? The answer is the fewest possible. Maximum 3, preferably 0. Arguments are bad. Each argument brings more chaos into your function. Each argument increases the complexity of your method. The more arguments your method has, the harder it is to use. Especially dangerous are the same type arguments. The more same type arguments your method has, the easier it is to confuse them and create bugs. Another category of parameters you especially should try to stay away from are parameters passed by reference, the change state inside your function. You risk modifying the state of objects where no one expects you to modify it. That is, far away from where it should be modified and where the state is used. If you can't avoid changing the state of parameters, at least make it clear you are doing so. You can do this by returning that parameter. If you can't return it, you can show this change with the name of the function. If this is also not possible, as a last resort you can use comments. We will discuss in a future lecture why using comments is bad and why they mean you fail to express yourself with code. So it is best to avoid changing the state of your parameters. In the first code example here, we signal very well that something happened to the result, including by using a new variable. There is an issue with it though. If we return the result parameter and we added the HTML directly to it, some poor programmer that comes after us might think the old result doesn't have the HTML part. Situations like this is where I recommend to stay away from changing your parameter state. The second example is okayish. It defines very well what it does and reads very easy. There is still a chance someone might miss that something happened to the result. I like the third example more. It signals very well that something happens to the result variable. The fourth example is terrible. A lot of things happen and no one will expect that result changes inside that function. This is the kind of function you should not write because it leads to hard to find bugs. Changing state is important. You should make it as clear as possible when you are doing it. Your code should scream, "Hey, I changed the state of this object inside my function, be careful here." Arguments also couple your method to the outside. The more parameter your method has, the more coupled it is. What if I need many arguments? I need to pass 5 different strings. There is no way around it. Create a new class then. The fact that these variables are sent together means they have enough cohesion to be together in a class. If you can't find any good name for what they represent together, just add an input at the end of your function name. I like to make this type of objects immutable, so I only give them getters and a builder from Lombok. Well, as immutable as possible anyway. That way you can create the object but nobody will try to set its contents. He can still change it, but you send a clue that he shouldn't. You can make it an inner class or put it in the same package or create a package just for these types of parameter classes if they don't seem to belong anywhere else. All of the things that I said until now also apply to constructors. It is common for constructors to take many arguments. In this case, you can either create a parameter class or use a builder. What do you think about Boolean parameters? Never use Boolean arguments. If you use Boolean parameters, it means you are doing more than one thing in your method. Also, it's hard to figure out what a Boolean argument does. IntelliJ actually helps now by showing the parameter's name at the calling place. Instead of using booleans, create 2 methods, one for true and one for false. What do you think about null arguments? Null arguments are just like booleans, so the same rule applies. Create 2 functions, one for null and one for value. Only expect to receive null when the users of your methods are outside of your team. Checking all arguments for null is called defensive programming. It should not happen inside the team, only for public APIs.